if you know me, you know I love a good 2-1 victory. That's exactly what happened Wednesday afternoon.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. NL Central observations later. Best role players so far. We start with the Cubs defeating the Marlins 2-1 on Wednesday to take the series. The Northsiders improved to 30-20 on the 2025 season. 10 games over 500 for the first time since September 12th, 2023. And they're now 7-2 in this 21-game softer stretch. Kyle Tucker hit a home run in the first inning, and an eighth-inning single from him rolled under the glove of left fielder Kyle Stowers as Matt Shaw scored on the play. Tucker and Shaw, not coincidentally, were the two standouts of the series offensively. We'll get to that later. Cade Horton went 5 1/3 innings. Caleb Thielbar got 3 outs. Brad Keller 5, and Daniel Palencia pitched the 9th. Sam, it does feel good right now sitting here with you for the Cubs to get this win after how they lost Monday and all the news and notes of the week.
There's nothing I love more. Cubs didn't do a whole lot well Wednesday afternoon.
Right.
They left runners on early in the game. I thought they were sloppy defensively. Cade Horton, I thought, did a really good job. He started out rocky, settled in. His last couple innings were his best so far in the big leagues. Outside of Kyle Tucker and Matt Shaw, there wasn't a whole lot. I'll even go as far as to say the bullpen was really good results-wise. Thielbar and Keller in particular didn't look overly sharp, left a lot of pitches over the middle, whatever. They won. Who cares? This was a results day. And sometimes you just have to win 2-1. Sometimes you just have to win 3-2. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to remember how that happened. You're just going to remember at the end of the year that was 1 of 94. Or 1 of 93, 1 of 95, whatever it is.
1 of 99, perhaps.
And that was what my real takeaway. And then, at the end of, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Whenever
I thought it's Wednesday. I thought it was Thursday.
Whatever day I was solo this week, I think it was Monday night.
It was.
At the very end of the show, I was talking about, hey, so what's next for the Cubs? And, oh, that's not a good sign at all. Oh, for the audio folks, Matt's sipping on a carbonated beverage. Oh no, that's for those that don't know Matt, that means he must have a real long day or something's going on. All right, let me get back to what I was saying at the end of that show.
On Monday's show.
Yeah, I talked about how, hey, there's a lot of things. What can the Cubs do next or whatever? At some point, it was time for Kyle Tucker to be Kyle Tucker again. And when you're short,
did he do that?
When you're short guys, when you're injured, I said, it's time now. He showed some signs on Monday of hitting the ball hard, and Tuesday and Wednesday he carried the club, and it was enough for 2 victories. So overall, great job, great series win. Considering the fact how they lost Monday night, I'm going to use the word great to describe this series win.
Absolutely. And I'm going to try to do the same. The episode title, I think just getting a close win, as I was brainstorming those before we press record, I think to get this series win, given the circumstances, does matter right now. It does. That's both with the roster, that's both with injuries, that could be a performance related. It's really a combination of factors right now. And I have to say, Wednesday's win, as you teased out in our last show, it does help the attitude entering an off day, and then subsequently entering what I think is going to be a somewhat significant series this weekend against a division team in the Reds. So
sure,
I like what happened today. I think Cade Horton, there's more to explore there prior
Absolutely.
to his next start, or we could do it now if we want.
I
But
got some stuff.
Tucker, 6 for 12 this series with 2 walks. I mean, come on.
Mm.
He answered the bell. I think that was a perfectly fair question that you posed Monday night, and he did it. Seiya, 5 for 13. Swanson, same line. And here's where I think we should lead for the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Shaw, 5 for 11 with a walk and 2 stolen bases this series.
Yeah, no, I thought
Some defensive moments this week.
yeah.
I didn't think he was even going to be here until next week. And he had a really nice series, evidenced by him hitting the ball and squaring it up the other way.
Driving it.
Did we do that even one time the first go round? Not once, right? Maybe once?
Yeah, maybe once.
Oh, man.
I agree. I think
Very encouraging.
And even defensively, like he made a play in the first where he had like a bad throw, but he made a great play just to save a run there. Let's dive into Cade for just a second.
Yeah.
I was really what's the word? Just underwhelmed through about 3 innings. And I was like, all right, like look, at the bare minimum right now, and I talked about this with Ben Brown the other night. Just keep us in the game, be decent, and we can worry about how it looks and the aesthetics later. And so I was like, all right, he was doing that, but I was like, man, I wanted to see a little bit more. And then his last 2 innings of work, his last 2 1/3 were really eye-opening, I thought. He really grinded. The changeup was his swing and miss pitch today, particularly to lefties. He finally got some swing and miss. The strikeouts aren't there, but the swing and miss was there, especially on the changeups. I think what's taken him back a little bit is he's not getting a ton of whiffs on the slider, which is really what got him to the dance. A lot of righties are kind of just taking it. It's a little loopy. It's not as sharp as I'd like to see. Fastball command was iffy early, settled in. And then the other thing that was really nice to see is the fastball velocity stayed the same all the way through. So 5 innings in, he pitched it out into the 6th, still sitting 96. So I thought it was an encouraging day after a very rocky start. It could have got away from him there. It really could have in the first with some sloppy defense and not missing bats at all. But I was impressed. I'm really impressed with his demeanor out there so far. That's probably been, I think, the biggest pro. Just he looks like a pro. He doesn't get overwhelmed, and he looks like a starter. And I just thought, albeit poor competition, this is a pesky team, and I thought he did a really nice job, especially at the end there on Wednesday, and was a big part of the victory.
I wouldn't dismiss the eye test in that fashion at all with him looking the part. I think for a young guy like that to be thrust into this situation, it is important to keep tabs on that. And it's encouraging that he threw harder for longer, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes.
And especially given where he might end the year and then some and beyond, that's going to matter perhaps in a shorter burst as well. And Sam, Daniel Palencia,
surprised.
Not even 48 hours later, you blinked and the game was over in the 9th.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin a beautiful day and a beautiful segment. I was very surprised that Palencia got the ball. He gave up a lot of fly balls to fairly deep of the outfield,
especially the last one.
But give him credit. I was confused by that decision, and I'm really glad that it worked out. Just real quick, last thing on Cade, next start home against the Rockies, so he really has a chance to build some momentum. But yeah, I was surprised. They went Thielbar lefties, and then they threw Keller for 5 outs, and then I thought it was going to be Presley. That's what I thought going into the 9th. I thought it was going to be Presley or Pomerantz. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. I don't have Palencia as the 9th inning guy, but he got an opportunity, and give him credit for jumping back on the horse and getting the job done.
Role players, I think we listed a couple of them right there. Who are the best ones so far on both sides of the ball? We're going to get to that right after this.
This episode is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast, like Matt Shaw stealing a bag on Wednesday afternoon from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free TradeMaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
Carson Kelly was supposed to be a role player this year. I think he still is, though it's pretty much a timeshare at catcher with Miguel Amaya. What a big part both of these dudes have been, but especially Kelly, the veteran catcher, free agent signing over the winter, same day as the Kyle Tucker trade. He agreed to terms, helping the pitching staff this year, doing what he's supposed to do defensively. And then offensively, he entered Wednesday. I didn't play, so now this is an official line. 289, 8 homers, and 120 plate appearances this year. Am I wrong in saying he's a major reason they've won 30 games?
Not only do I not think you're wrong, to attack the role player theme, I think both guys qualify.
Okay.
Him and Amaya, because they
Makes
both
sense, yeah.
they both don't play every day. And I think both those guys are a major reason why they've won. I mean, Kelly was the story of the spring, March and April. And then Amaya, man, I mean,
what a transformation, right?
I haven't done a good enough job giving him his credit. I spoke about that on Monday as well. I mean, this is his line right now. He's hitting 286. He had another hit today that would have been an RBI single, but for some reason the Marlins. By the way, just real quick, because I always get on Craig Counsell. The Marlins pitching to Kyle Tucker in that situation with the game on the line with Suzuki on deck was reprehensible managing. I tweeted it as it happened, even when he fell behind the count. Thank you very much, but that was insane. Yeah. Just wanted to say that. I forgot. I had that in my notes and I forgot. And then credit the Marlins. They had the outfield in. You always hear the infield in. The outfield was in. Amaya hits a single to left, but the left fielder was playing like 10 feet behind the shortstop. So Bush got thrown out by, almost 10 yards.
It was really bad.
But, Amaya's been so clutch, man. I mean, that homer against the Dodgers, the 3-run homer. So I think those two guys, Kelly and Amaya, as part-timers together, have been by far the two best role players position-wise. Now, to be fair, they don't have a whole lot of competition. John Birdie has not done a good job. Justin Turner, although showing much better signs lately,
right.
Overall, his body of work hasn't been up to par. Vidal Brujan, not great. I know his average looks pretty good. There's a ball lost in the sun. Let's just be honest there.
Right.
So a lot of the role players haven't worked out, but the two guys at the catcher position, I think, almost are an under-talked about story because of Tucker and Pete.
Yeah, Nico Horner said the other day they should both go to the All-Star game.
I joked about that the other day with you. It's not a crazy thing to say.
That'd be really cool. I wonder if that's ever happened.
No, it's impossible. I don't think it could.
Right.
I gotta look at the National League catcher situation. I know, Cal Raleigh.
Even if you just go off slug,
I know Cal Raleigh's having a big year in the American League.
Of course, he's really good.
But in the National League, I got to look at the leaderboard. I haven't done that.
Yeah, I'd like to take a look at that as well. And then I think there's two clear names on the pitching side.
Let's see if but don't say them. Let's see if we're on the same wavelength here.
Well, so when should I say them then? Because It is a talk program.
Well, is that man, that's just, I'm a little concerned, but I guess that's an off the air conversation. Well, I know you, and I know Thielbar's on there.
He's not.
Really?
But he could be.
Colin Ray.
Colin Ray.
No, you're right. That was my fault because he technically was a role guy.
Yep.
You could go ahead and say the other one now.
Well, I have two non-roster invitees who have pitched big innings.
Oh, Ray and Keller, yeah.
Ray, Keller and Pomerantz.
Yeah, no, you're right. Those are the right people. I just don't even think of Keller as a role guy now because he's been so good. I look at him as a main guy.
Well, and that's probably right.
Yeah.
But what a story he is, non-roster in spring. So was Pomerantz, but with the Mariners, and began the year at AAA Tacoma before getting traded to the Cubs last month. Ray has been great. Looking forward to seeing him against the Reds this weekend.
Are you?
Keller is not allowed an earned run in his last 14 innings, and Pomerantz hasn't allowed a run at all.
Well, you
10 1/3.
You could make the case with Hodge out. Those are the two best relievers on the team. Keller and Pomerantz. You could make that case.
Right now they are, yeah.
I was disappointed when Caleb Thielbar walked Derek Hill. I kept calling him Darius Hill Monday because the Cubs have a guy named Darius Hill in their system. His name's Derek Hill. I was a little disappointed that Thielbar walked him, so I think I moved Pomerantz for the time being.
Well, that is a surprise because he's literally had some outings later where he throws like 2 balls.
No, he's been great. I'm just messing around. He's been great. No, Keller, Thielbar's ERA is down to 2.55. Keller, 2.70. Yeah. You could throw Palencia in there. The only thing I didn't love on Monday, just continuing the bullpen conversation with Keller and these guys, is they didn't strike anybody out. It's hard to live like that, but it worked it worked. And these role players, you're right. You make a great point. It just speaks to how good Ray and Keller have been. They were guys. Ray was a long reliever / spot starter going into the year. That was his role at $5 million.
And that's what he was sold on in January.
And some people on here said he's either an overpaid starter an overpaid, long reliever or an underpaid starter. And he's been great at both. So wonder who that was. He's wearing a gray shirt. And then Keller was really the story of spring training. And he's been the story of the bullpen so far.
Yeah. And they made an early trade with the Mariners again. And that guy's been good again.
Yeah.
And Pomerantz after Miller last year, basically around the same time or actually a little bit earlier this time around with Pomerantz. The one thing if you do want to compare a little bit last year to this year,
sure.
We did a lot of, we felt there was issues with the bench last year.
Mm-hmm.
The bench isn't that good.
No.
Besides the rotating of the catchers, you could look at the Turner, Birdie, and Brujan right now and see a path to them not completing the season with the Cubs.
Oh, definitely.
That's how poor they've been.
The last one. Well, Brujan's only on the team right now because he could play center field and he could run.
Yeah.
Because if something happens with Pete,
maybe he lasts, but yeah.
I think Birdie's more likely to last just because, first of all, I trust Birdie more on the bases. Secondly, he got paid, whereas Brujan, there'd be more of a financial thing. And Turner's showing signs. And I actually think that Wednesday's lineup, which we talked about, Pete possibly hitting cleanup.
We almost got it exact.
Because the reason why we didn't get it exact is that Bush was hitting right behind Pete, but I think that's a vote of confidence for Turner. Because I think Council's like, okay,
flip them around.
If they go with Bush late in a close game, I want Turner in that spot.
Okay.
So
that's good. He should be doing that because talk about finances. He got paid the most out of that bench group.
No, and he, like I said, he's starting to show signs. I still, with everything with Justin Turner, I still feel very comfortable with him up in a big spot late.
Let's go around the NL Central right after this. Last segment here on Locked On Cubs. We'll be back with our next episode talking Cubs Reds and a whole lot more.
Yeah, big episode. And I have an announcement too. I think I'm going to do a watch along on Memorial Day.
Wow.
I know people will say, well, why are you doing that? Because number one, I always work on Memorial Day. And so this way it'll give me a break. And for the people out there that don't have any plans, it could be like a foam, you little FOMO, come join me. And then, it's not a coincidence they're playing the Rockies. I'd like to get a win. Carry on.
And I will be in attendance at the actual game. 300 level and apparently bundled up because it's only supposed to be like 55.
Oh, that's not good.
Wrigley, it's going to be 45. So.
That's not good for Tucker.
Cubs are 30-20, 3 games out in front. They've been in first place since April 4th. I mentioned that before. Cardinals 27-23, Reds 25-26, Brewers 24-26, Pirates 17-33, Cardinals, Reds, Brewers all lost on Wednesday. Cubs, Reds this weekend, Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Pirates. Cardinals cooled off against the Tigers here, Sam. What other observations could we start with here?
Well, to take a page out of the great Bill Simmons' book at the Ringer, do you feel comfortable?
Please.
Can we eliminate Pittsburgh, or is it too early?
Are we eliminating them from contention, right?
We're saying that,
or you're just saying you don't want to even bring them up when I list the standings.
Yeah, I'm saying that we would eliminate them from the division, so we don't really discuss them because we don't believe that they could win the division. Or
That's
is it
true?
I think I know it might be a little early. They're 13 out.
Well, Monday. So when we hit Monday, it's not early anymore. That's only 5 days away.
Yeah.
So
they're 13 out.
Yeah, I would say it's not too early to do that.
Okay, so because maybe we could do something fun, like maybe every checkpoint, July 4th, we eliminate a team.
Yes.
And
yes,
so
right.
I think
the next checkpoint would be July 4th and then probably Labor Day.
Yeah, and so I'd like to I'm a little nervous with our history. Like, we talk about Dansby and then he hits 8 homers. I could see the Pirates just rattling off like 17 in a row, but maybe we come back to that on Memorial Day.
Well, we could do a game where we propose trades for Paul Skeens.
Yeah, no. Well, I think one of us would be in that deal. Yeah, observations. I mean, this Cardinal team's frustrating.
Yeah, you're tired of them. You said in the text.
I'm just fatigued.
Sorry if you don't want that on the air.
No, that's okay. Oh boy. I feel like the Reds are exactly.
This is some old school show material. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm just also envious because I miss that so much, and I have water right here.
You miss our old show. Wow.
No. I miss the beverage. Like I miss drinking carbonated beverage. All I do is drink water.
I drink mostly water.
Yeah, I've been drinking. I've even taken out. Whatever. I don't want to. It's not that type of show. Anyway, the Reds are exactly what I thought they'd be if McClain was going to be this bad. We'll see them this weekend. I think you're right. It's going to be a really interesting series because it feels like one they need to win. Like if you're
they have their 3 best starters. Pitching.
If you're the Reds, you're everybody. they were one of the sneaky teams. Watch out for Cincinnati.
I thought so. Yeah.
And they're 25-26. It feels like they either score 15 runs or 0.
Yes,
and
that's true.
They have their 3 best starters going against a first place team. Like if I'm them, if I'm the great Jeff Carr and I'm doing a show, I need to win this series. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, it's been a pleasure to watch them be mediocre.
They have been.
And that's been great. And St. Louis, I mean, my observations are, I need to see a little bit more. I'm not sold yet, but I will admit that they are much better than I thought they would be.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We've done that a couple times now in the last week for sure. I like that, that the Reds are 500, Brewers under 500. Well, the Reds are 2. They played actually 1 extra game than everybody else. Cardinals Diamondbacks this weekend. Maybe the Cardinals come back to earth a little bit as they're coming off that series loss against
Is that in
Troy.
Is that in St. Louis? I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cubs 7-2 in this 21 game stretch. Cubs are on pace for 97 wins. I know we were,
Wow.
joking earlier about the final win total, but they are on pace for 97. And trivia for you, Sam,
Oh boy.
through 50 games in 2023,
Oh.
what was the Cubs record? And in 2024, I have that in front of me here.
Okay.
Through 50 games.
When did they start to collapse? 2023 through 50. I'm gonna say 23 and 27.
In 2023,
Yeah.
22 and 28.
Okay. And then last year, I'll say 27 and 23.
You're correct. So,
Who?
nice
Can I make
job.
a quick NL Central? Just want to finish my
Then I have
thought.
another question. Yeah.
Oh, Ivan Herrera
Yeah. What's up with him?
on the Cardinals, basically
Hitting over 400, right?
his start to the campaign, he just decided to be Ted Williams. So at some, he went 0 for 3 today, which, is one of the biggest stories in the sport lately.
Well, Brandon Donovan's been great too.
Yeah, but that's at least a little bit understandable. He's been pretty good for a while. This is a 24-year-old guy here, Herrera. Would like to see him cool off a bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Well, what about their pitchers? Sonny Gray has been great. Fetty, Libertor.
Yeah. Finally, Palante got hit around. Finally.
Yeah, we saw him last June, right? Live.
Yeah, he was that Palante Managa hit that home run where the ball was in the air, and I go, that's going to be caught.
A half 1 for 10.
No, he was rusty.
2 games, and he really was 0 for 9.
Yeah, he got a hit off a position player. He was really rusty. I really thought about that, actually. Like, when a guy's that rusty, do you just put him right back in like that? I guess you have to, but, it didn't hurt the team, and hopefully he gets right in Cincy.
Yeah, he loves that place. And one final question. Where are the Cubs spending their off days? That could be Miami Thursday or the great city of Cincinnati?
Cincy.
Yikes. All right, that will do it.
Oh, that was my question. I think
yeah.
you always fly. You fly right away, and then you're there.
Yeah, but why do they want to spend a day there, as you would say?
Well, absolutely, and I'll ask our guest that tomorrow.
Wow, there's a tease. This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day for your second listen. Check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night, every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night of the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Back tomorrow to close out another great week. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.